Welcome! Today we are diving into the world of quick breads. As the name suggests, these breads are quick to prepare because they don't rely on yeast for leavening. We'll cover what makes them quick, the different types, and the key mixing methods for success. Quick breads are any bread leavened with an agent other than yeast, such as baking soda, baking powder, steam, or egg whites. To leaven simply means to make it rise. Because of these quick-acting leavening agents, quick breads rise, well, quickly. For a perfect result, precise measurements are essential. Nutritionally, quick breads are generally high in carbohydrates, protein, B vitamins, and iron. Quick breads are categorized by the proportion of liquid to flour, and we start with pour batter. This is a thin, runnier batter with a 1-to-1 ratio of flour to liquid. As the name implies, it needs to be poured onto the pan. Classic examples of pour batters are pancakes and waffles. Next up is drop batter. This batter is thicker, using a 2-to-1 ratio of flour to liquid. It's thick enough to be dropped from a spoon onto the pan. Common examples of drop batters include muffins, banana bread, and popovers. Our third type is soft dough. This type has significantly more flour than liquid and requires kneading to form a uniform soft dough. Soft dough examples are often used to make flaky textures like biscuits and scones. Now that we've covered the types, let's explore the essential mixing methods that bring quick breads to life. The muffin method, also called the well method, is used for pour and drop batters. The steps are straightforward. You use one bowl for your liquid ingredients and another for your dry ingredients. Sift all the dry ingredients together. Next, make a well or a hole in the center of the dry ingredients and pour the liquid ingredients into it. Finally, gently stir them together only until the batter is lumpy. The key is gentle mixing. Why is gentle stirring so important? Because of overmixing. Overmixing the batter overdevelops the gluten and introduces too many air holes. This can result in two undesirable characteristics: peaks, which are non-symmetrical pointed tops, and tunnels, which are air holes throughout the inside of the muffin. The finished product will be tough and heavy. The goal is a high-quality muffin. This is what you should be aiming for: a rounded, symmetrical top, a crumb free of air holes, and a moist interior, and a golden brown color on the outside.
Today I'm going to be demonstrating for you how to make biscuits using the biscuit method. There's a few basic ingredients you're going to need: 2 cups of flour, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, half a cup of shortening, and 3/4 of a cup of milk. I'm going to start. This is a pastry blender, and this is our tool for the biscuit method. It has tines across the top that we're going to use to cut the shortening into the solid fat. Let's begin. I'm going to take 2 cups of flour, pour it into a large bowl, and combine with that the rest of the dry ingredients. 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 tablespoon of sugar. Use your rubber scraper to mix that together, and to that we're going to add half a cup of shortening. Shortening is a solid fat. Just slide it right on in there, and use your pastry blender to cut the shortening into the fat. So if you see cut in or pastry blender, you know that this is the biscuit method. Cut in specifically means to combine the solid fat with the dry ingredients. That looks like coarse crumbs now. There's a little bit of lumps. It's mostly pretty smooth. It's all combined. To that we're going to add 3/4 of a cup of milk, and we're going to stir it again with a pastry blender. Just stir until all the milk is absorbed into the flour. If it seems a little dry, you can add a little bit of extra milk to it. Once that's combined, we're going to put a little bit of flour out on our counter. And we're going to put the dough right on top of that flour. You're going to knead the dough 3 or 4 times just to combine it thoroughly. And like I said, it's very sticky, so you're going to need to put a little bit of flour on top of the dough as well.
Use your hands 3 or 4 times just till it all comes together. Then we're going to roll it out. Use your rolling pin. Roll the dough until it's about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch thick. And then use your biscuit cutter to cut out the biscuits. Cut them as close together as possible so you're not wasting any dough. And then place them on an ungreased cookie sheet so the sides are touching. So when you put them on the cookie sheet, they're going to be right next to each other, just like that. Here I've placed the biscuits on a cookie sheet so all of the sides are touching, and just gently press down in the center of each biscuit. This will keep the biscuits from rising up with a domed top. And this tray of biscuits just came out of the oven. What we have, all the biscuits are touching at the sides, and they've all risen up very straight and tall. They're lightly golden brown on the top, and like I said, you can top these with a little bit of melted butter. Let them
A unique part of this method is the use of a tool called a pastry blender. This method involves the technique of cutting in, where you use the pastry blender to break up solid fat like shortening into the flour until the pieces are about the size of peas or coarse crumbs. Here are the steps. First, combine all your dry ingredients in a bowl. Then add your fat, like shortening, and use the pastry blender to cut the fat into the dry ingredients until it resembles coarse crumbs. Next, add the liquid ingredients and stir only until the dough starts to form. Finally, sprinkle a small amount of flour on your counter and knead the dough just 4 or 5 times. Then use a rolling pin to roll out the dough and cut into biscuits. Let's clarify kneading. Kneading is working the dough with your hands to develop gluten. To do this, fold the dough in half towards you, then rock or push the dough away from you using the palm of your hands. Quarter turn the dough and repeat. Always consult your recipe to determine the precise amount of time or repetitions needed for kneading. Proper pan preparation is crucial for easy removal and appearance. Pans and muffin tins need to be greased, typically with butter or sprayed vegetable oil, or lined with paper liners. This also promotes browning. Use a portion scoop to ensure all your muffins are a uniform size, and only fill the muffin tins about halfway. Sorry about that, guys. Overfilling can cause the batter to spill over and result in flat tops. Finally, baking. Bake your quick breads until the edges begin to shrink from the sides of the pan and the tops spring back when lightly pressed. A reliable test is to insert a wooden toothpick or skewer into the center. If it comes out clean, it's done. Remember to cool loaf breads on a cooling rack before removing them from the pan. For muffins, remove them immediately after baking to prevent the steam from making them soggy.